And I do love this idea of building on the shoulders of giants. And Bitcoin itself is a great example of that, right? It's not, oh, look, someone just invented peer to peer digital cash. It's like, no, there's been 40 to 50 years worth of computer science that's gone into this one moment where someone blended together um, a bunch of things and, of course, put their own twist on it. But what I'm intrigued about then is this idea of Bitcoin itself being it's decentralized, right? And it can use energy
Mm.
anywhere. So what does that mean? And also, you touched on that idea of baseload renewable power. So there's two questions. We'll do the baseload bit second, but being able to plug into a network
Yeah,
that pays you anywhere in the world, what does that mean commercially?
it's an enabler. It's the customer that doesn't need a bunch I guess business plans and customers and logistics planning and freighting and all of the things around transferring a tangible good. It's a ambiguous customer that only needs energy and doesn't need infrastructure. So you can kind of leverage having Bitcoin, a Bitcoin mine as a first use case on an energy generation source to generate income while the industry builds out because that energy's there. So I might try and rephrase that. What Bitcoin kind of enables with the remote power generation concept is that you can develop and start generating electrons and you can sell them before the customers are actually there. So Bitcoin is an opportunist. So you deploy it where energy is abundant, and pretty much you're trying to find the cheapest energy out there. And that generally comes when there's not enough consumption at the generation. So taking remote hydro or a newly developed wind farm that's not fully integrated into the grid. Those are locations that have excess energy that is available for consumption, and you can deploy Bitcoin without much infrastructure or really any kind of external forces. It can be an internally operated mechanism that uses those electrons to convert it to a currency. And like look, we met because of Bitcoin, but
Hmm.
you don't even have to hold the risk of Bitcoin. You can convert that into cash, and you can pretty much use it as a digital transfer from the effort mined Bitcoin on that abundant energy. You can convert it immediately to cash. A great example of that is Iron. That's kind of their operating MO. They don't hold Bitcoin as an asset. They convert it to cash, and they've made an incredibly successful business. And so, I look at Bitcoin as being an enabler that could be the missing gap that a lot of these remote resources or remote energy generation projects need to get over the line to survive until the industry appears.
And Sam, so tell me,
And
do
then,
you think
yeah,
that it's when I look at, for example, a a big hydroelectric dam that has excess energy that's not selling, and therefore you can stick some Bitcoin miners on it and you can monetize stranded energy. That makes sense to me. But in some ways, you could argue that that's like fiat misallocation of capital. Do you think that there's going to be
well,
opportunities for people to develop out and out um, kind of energy production on a more
mm,
decentralized level that's not a fiat misallocation? Does that make sense? So, like you guys, obviously, you want to
yeah,
get a barge up and running doing ocean thermal.
I'll kick off on that response because it's I
Please.
think it's a really interesting crossover because I guess this is one thing that I've kind of expanded my view a bit of what we're doing as Ocean Bit, and then also what Bitcoin mining has enabled globally, and not just as a I guess a pivot to be Bitcoin maxi, and we need to you know deplete fiat at all costs. But and not to say that's what you were going for, but converting to fiat actually can achieve, I guess, not such an economic driver, but maybe a social or a kind of a locally beneficial impact. So, it, unfortunately, I'm horrible with names, but I know in cases in South Africa, there's a hydro farm that they installed a bunch of Bitcoin mines attached to it, and the Bitcoin revenue has been able to cover the maintenance costs for the hydro and ensure that that hydro is supporting the local power grid more reliably. And so it's an enabler that, it's not just, put all of the Bitcoin mine there and only do that, make a lot of Bitcoin and hold on to that for the next 50 years, because we're not in a world that's sustainable yet. And so it's one of those things where I kind of go, well, okay, I guess what made, or what introduced Nate and I was that I listened to him on a Bitcoin podcast, and it was phenomenally. Had this wonderful idea of having an independent floating vessel in the middle of the ocean mining Bitcoin on the largest natural resource of the earth, the ocean, and which is incredible. And had we built it 3 years ago, we'd be very happy startup entrepreneurs. But it's very difficult to finance that in a fiat world, and so where we actually realized that the Bitcoin integration into an ocean bit asset is actually filling the gap, where we're looking at supporting a local grid. We're looking at having a data center aspect, because there is so much demand, and we have a solution for data centers that are constrained in city centers, and they're getting boxed out due to land, electricity, and water. We've got a solution for that, and then we've also got space for Bitcoin to consume the middle ground, to make sure that our asset is consistently generating income, to ensure that the investors and the partners that we bring on for a project are sufficiently repaid, so that asset is something that comes down as a business plan. So it's an enabler that allows that final part of the financial feasible mix.
And so in some ways then you can think of ocean thermal and a barge as like a windmill, and you're taking the energy production capacity of the ocean and running that through a turbine.
You're right. It's our ocean thermal energy generator is targeting these locations along the equator, which, funnily enough, using your example there, really don't have enough wind resource to be suitable for wind farms. And when you're looking at small island nations, they are landlocked. They can't be sacrificing 70% of their land for a solar farm. And I apologize to solar enthusiasts. That's not meant to degrade the benefits of solar around, but more of just a physical restriction for the islands.